Trump, tariffs, everyone. This is incredibly important for just about every class I give. So everyone's going to watch it. This is very important because he just slapped up to 25% tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada in an executive order. What does that mean? Well, first, a tariff is like a tax on imports. They're used often to regulate the level or flow of imports into a country. The United States actually used them right before the Civil War in order to block imports from Great Britain to protect the industry of the North. But the South called those tariffs of abomination. Why? And it helped spark the Civil War because then Great Britain would put retaliatory tariffs and also quotas, that's the number you can actually import, on us, the United States. What does that mean? That meant no tobacco, cotton, indigo, other things the South was producing. So how will the world respond? This is going to be very, very interesting. So, in a nutshell, economic liberalism, which is very, very important, presupposes that conflict can decrease by countries coming together and cooperating through trade because then we're basically interdependent, meaning countries depend on each other for trade. So, China can't have conflict with the United States or a strong conflict like war because then it can't export to the United States. United States can't have conflict with China because we import from them. Moreover, they hold a lot of our bonds and money, etc. So it's like you're going on a boat and you need both people to get to the other side. And if one person dies or gets overthrown, etc., overboard, then you can't get there. It's kind of this idea of cooperation. The same thing goes into this whole neoliberal institutionalism where countries come together, like the incipients of the European Union, the European community at the time, came together and began to, through interdependence, connect coal and steel because those at the time were the industry of war. So by connecting the countries of World War II together, they became interdependent. And the European Union, for all its faults, is an incredibly interdependent unit, not one state, but they never had a World War III, which is absolutely incredible. This is what people get nervous about. Trump's tariffs is going to just blow up into a tariff war. It's going to decrease interdependence, and it's going to have retaliatory effects that will affect not only the consumer, but the world in general. Actually, possibly fuel more migration if we're decreasing products from, say, Mexico, and then obviously Colombia and other places. That's why Colombia was so scared of the tariffs. So the question is, are these tariffs good or no? Remember, tariffs will block imports in. It is interesting. Trump has said, well, then come in and produce these products here. That has worked with a very specific industry like Japan in the 1980s and, specifically steel. George Bush put some tariffs on in steel to get Pennsylvania. It was a huge voting bloc, obviously, for the presidential election. But kind of these blanket tariffs, what do they mean? How will countries retaliate? And also, will countries come together through like interest conversions, right? And create a bloc to balance the United States. Like a lot of you are watching the video, the lecture on William Walker, where he invaded the Nicaragua, gringo like me, goes invade Nicaragua and then declares himself presidency. This is a threat to the other Central American countries. So they get together and basically, I'm pretty sure they killed William Walker. So will countries come together to kind of balance Trump's more punitive measures like tariffs? What can countries do? Before I made the argument that if you put tariffs on China, That might be good for Mexico because then Mexico's products will be cheaper and it'll be a boom for Mexico. That's a possible externality, that spin-off. But we don't know now if these tariffs are on Mexico as well and what exact products, etc. Is it a blanket? We have to really read the executive order. But even Elon Musk, from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is a little scared of the tit for tat tariffs that increased the world, which happened right before World War I. So we don't know what's going to happen. People are scared of a world depression. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a very, very interesting time. And it's very theoretical because he's challenging the World War II kind of liberal order that the United States was trying to push through all these institutions like the World Trade Organization, etc. So it's going to be an interesting world. Will there be more conflict with Trump, less conflict with Trump, more economic development with Trump, or less? That's for you to decide, and I respect all your opinions. Let's debate it in class or online. Take care, everyone.